You're going to wake up tomorrow morning. Same alarm, same routine, same feeling in your chest before the day even starts. And at some point, you're going to check your bank account. Maybe with hope, maybe with dread, but you're going to check it. Because somewhere along the way, that number became the answer to a question you ask yourself every single day. Am I okay? And here's what nobody talks about. Most people, no matter how hard they work, no matter how much they sacrifice, that number never feels like enough. Not because you're bad with money, not because you're lazy, not because you're failing, but because the system was never designed for you to feel like enough. And once you see how it was actually built, who built it, and why, you'll never look at your bank account the same way again. This is the story of money and how it got control of everything. To understand why money controls everything, we have to go back, way back, before money even existed. Thousands of years ago, if you wanted something, you traded for it. You grew food. I made tools. Simple, direct, human. But there was a problem. What if I didn't need your food today? What if my tools weren't worth what you were asking? Every transaction became a negotiation. Every deal, a gamble. And as communities grew larger, this system started breaking down. You couldn't feed a city on handshakes and hope. Trade stopped. People went hungry. Something had to change. And so, money was born, not by accident, by necessity. A small piece of metal, worth nothing on its own, but suddenly, worth everything because everyone agreed it was. For the first time in history, a farmer could sell his grain to a stranger he'd never meet again, and both of them would walk away satisfied. Money created trust between people who had none. It was the greatest invention humanity ever created. Not the wheel, not fire, money, because money moves civilization forward. Eventually, coins became paper. Paper became numbers. Numbers became digital. But the idea stayed the same, a shared agreement that this thing has value. Money didn't just solve a problem. It rewired how humans think, how we measure success, how we measure each other. But here's where the story gets dark. Because the moment money had power, powerful people wanted to control it. Kings, governments, empires. They realized something dangerous. Whoever controls the money controls the people. So they taxed it, regulated it, printed more of it when they needed to. And slowly, quietly, the value of your money started shrinking. The pyramids weren't built by slaves who wanted to. They were built by people who had no choice, because the system was designed to make sure they couldn't say no. Sound familiar? The Industrial Revolution changed everything. Suddenly, millions of people left their farms, their trades, their independence, and walked into factories. They traded their time for money every single day. Clock in, work, clock out. Repeat until you die. And at first, it felt like freedom. A steady paycheck, predictable income, security. But then came rent, then car payments, food, gas, utilities, the cost of just existing. And every month, no matter how hard you worked, the money disappeared just as fast as it came. Picture someone like Jake, 24 years old, marketing job, $3,400 take home every month. Sounds solid. But the first, rent takes $1,400, car payment, insurance, subscriptions, groceries, gas, student loan minimum. By the 20th, it's already tight. By the 28th, he's checking his balance every few hours. And on the 1st, it all resets. He's not poor, But he is trapped. The salary wasn't freedom, it was a leash. Long enough to feel comfortable, short enough to keep you coming back. And then the system got smarter. Banks started offering loans. Need a house? We'll lend you the money. Need a car? Sign here. Need anything? We've got you. For a price. Then came credit cards. Spend now, pay later. It felt like power. It was the opposite. Then buy now, pay later. 4 easy payments. No interest. If you're perfect, nobody's perfect. Think about it this way. A laptop, $1,800, too expensive. But the site says $75 a month. She clicks yes. She doesn't feel like she spent $1,800. She feels like she spent $75. 2 years later, still pulling from her account for a laptop she barely opens anymore. Don't make it feel big. Make it feel easy, because easy spending is endless spending. Every single upgrade, every new financial product was sold as a solution, but it was really just a new chain. Because when everything is a monthly payment, you can never actually stop paying. Look at your bank statement right now. Count the subscriptions, count the minimums, count the things you forgot you were paying for. That's not an accident. That's architecture. And to keep you spending, they invented something even more powerful than debt. They invented status. The car you drive, the neighborhood you live in, the restaurants you're seen at, all of it became currency, social currency. And it's even more addictive than money. So people started stretching, taking the bigger apartment, the nicer car, not because they could afford it, because they couldn't afford to look like they couldn't. Someone gets a promotion, salary jumps by $12,000 a year. Does he invest it? No. New apartment, newer car, nicer restaurants, a few more subscriptions. A year later, earning more than ever, saving exactly the same. Zero. The more you earn, the more your life costs. Lifestyle inflation, the gap never closes. And every time someone stretched, the system got paid, while your account stayed exactly where it was. So here you are, working harder than any generation before you, with more access, more tools, more information, and somehow still feeling like you're behind. That's not your fault, that's the design. But once you see the design, you can't unsee it. And that's where everything changes. Money was created to serve people. Somewhere along the way, it flipped. The only question left is, are you going to keep playing by rules you never agreed to?